So you've decided that you want to up your game with taking better photos on your smartphone, but you have no idea how. Well, the good news is it's easier than you think. Stick around and find out how. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Smart Photo Academy. My name is Al Jarina, and I'll bet the reason you're watching this video is because you do want to know how to make better smartphone photos with your camera. Well, the good news is you've come to the right place because I'm going to give you 3 tips to help you up your mobile photography game. So let's get started with tip number 1. Tip number 1 is be ready. First of all, there are several things that you can do right now to be ready with your smartphone just out of the gate to get better photos. So, one of those things is kind of an obvious one, but you want to wipe off your lens. Okay. Your camera lens gets kind of grimy, and you want to take a cloth and you want to get that thing clean. A cloudy lens is not going to give you better photos. In fact, a lot of the times we pick it out of our pocket and we have our hands all over it and we've got fingerprints, and that can just lead to really awful photos. So, definitely step one in that process of being ready is wipe off your lens. Step two in that process would be envision what you would like to capture before you push the shutter button. Once again, a lot of times we pull out our cameras, we're going to aim it at something and we think we see something there, but we don't even know what's going to come out. We just click that shutter button and we hope that something comes out. And a lot of times we're kind of disappointed with the results. Well, if you pre visualize what you want, if you take some time to think about this is what I'm seeing here, and you visualize a shot in your head, oftentimes that can lead to a better photo right out of the gate simply by making the adjustments that you need to get your camera the way you want it and get the scene the way you want it before you snap that shot. So definitely do that as part of being ready. And then lastly, know what you don't want to shoot. Oftentimes we just see a scene again and we just tap the shutter button and we don't even think about the fact that there's so much in that scene that's distracting us from what our eye hones in on. Our brains are usually wired to focus in on what we want to see. So when I point my smartphone at something and I just tap the shutter button there, and I'm just going to take whatever's in that scene. If I don't think about the things in the scene that might be distracting, might be crowding out the original subject that I want everyone to look at, then that's really where you want to make adjustments. You want to not just visualize what you want, you also want to visualize what you don't want in your photo and remove those elements as best as you can before you take the picture. All right, number 2, you want to know your camera's features. So you want to ask yourself, what are the settings on this camera that can be changed? How does this thing even work? We used to say, go ahead and read the manual, right? Find out what this phone that you have in your pocket, what is it capable of doing? And so then you can get through there. If you know the tool you're working with, you're going to be able to do a lot more with that tool. So knowing your smartphone, knowing the features that are built into this phone can go a long way for helping you. Ask yourself questions like, how far can this camera actually zoom before the quality degrades? What are the specialty modes? Can I shoot in only black and white? Can I shoot in some special scene mode where it blurs the background for me? Learn that, explore, play around with your camera, and you would be surprised at what your phone can actually offer you. And then, lastly, on that note, see if you can manually control settings. There's a lot of settings on our camera that we just kind of tap the shutter button and we hope for the best result. Well, there's a lot of cameras now, a lot of programs that allow you to manually control those features and to be able to take control and control it the way you want it to be instead of just relying on the camera and hoping that it sees exactly what you see. The last one is to know your phone's limitations. Number 3. So we're going to start with terrible light is terrible light. Okay. If you pull out your camera and you're in a cave, you don't have a lot of light, you're going to get a lousy photo. Your camera is not able to really make much if there's not a lot of light. The definition of photography is literally painting with light. You need light to take a good photo. And your camera knows that as well. And your camera is going to have a problem if you don't give it enough light to work in. So terrible light is terrible light. The second one to think about is digital zoom. Do not use the digital zoom on your camera. If you don't know what digital zoom is, it's essentially your phone is cropping in on the image. And when it does that, it's throwing away pixels that it doesn't need. And when it does that, it sometimes has to smear and make some of the pixels blurry in order to make it a big enough image for you to be satisfied. So digital zoom is a big no-no. We often tell people avoid digital zoom. So find out if your phone has a digital zoom and where it starts and where it ends, and try and avoid using that. And that will definitely improve things. And the final one under number 3, knowing your camera's limitations, is understand that your phone is different than a camera. When you're using a camera to take photos, you've got a lot of buttons that you can push. Your fingers are basically adjusting to where those things are. And over time, your muscle memory will know what buttons to push and where to go. And it's just built to be a camera. Your phone, on the other hand, is built to be a lot of things, as we've all come to learn. So even though it does have a camera features on it, you don't have that tactile feel that you typically do with a camera. So you have to just basically tap the screen. So you have to know where to go. That a lot of that comes with practice, but a lot of people kind of make the expectations of their phone to do wonderful things that it might not be built to do. So again, knowing the limitations of what you can and can't do, knowing when might want to put your phone away or adjust your scene so that your phone can do a better job. So just those 3 things there can help you improve your photos. All right, so there you have it. 3 tips to help you improve your mobile photography. If you like the tips that you got here and you would like to learn more, please consider liking or subscribing our channel so that we can bring you more content in the future.